How do they get Dolph's hair to stand up like that? It's like they trimmed it like a hedge. He's so sweaty all the time.
Cut. Action. Hello and welcome to Action Star Review. I'm Vlad, this is Lexi, and today we are talking about Dolph Lundgren. Dolph Lundgren is an intellectual, a perfect physical specimen, and he's got the biggest dick you will ever see on a man.
Kenner, just in case we get killed, I wanted to tell you, you have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
Thanks. I don't know what to say.
How about don't get killed?
Don't get killed.
I got an autographed picture. Really like it. Signed. I hope it's real. I paid $5 for it. You drew hearts around it. What's with that?
It just felt right.
So Dolph is a multi-talented man. He started out as a martial artist, and he was a Kyokyshin master. Kyokyshin karate, full contact sparring. He won 2 tournaments, European tournaments, not world, European, 1980, 1981. He has a master's in chemical engineering. And a lot of people, when they hear that, they're surprised. They're like, well, you wouldn't expect that from him. But why? Because it seems stupid. Like, what did they expect it from a smaller looking, chubbier guy with glasses? Is that what it is? Is it that Dolph's a little bit too tall, too chiseled?
Too handsome.
Too handsome. Right.
Nobody knows that I studied chemical engineering, or that I've got an IQ of 160, or that I'm in Mensa. Because I'm just too powerful.
He was kind of like very similar to Arnold Schwarzenegger in that he's a jack of all trades. He did a lot of things. He was an accomplished martial artist. He was very educated. Yeah. Arnold did his bodybuilding, politics, everything. He didn't just stick to one thing, but he's kind of
like what would happen if Arnold didn't succeed at everything he tried to do.
That's a good point, because like Arnold became like world champion bodybuilding multiple times.
Yeah.
Dolph's like European, good enough. Masters, good enough. No PhD for Dolph.
No, but does Arnold have a PhD?
He doesn't need one. He's governor of California. Here's the thing. I think Dolph was on his way to becoming something greater. And then at one point in his career, he met Van Damme. And Van Damme's like, hey, let me show you the ropes. Hey, you want to see this is some cocaine? Check it out. Now, I have no proof of this. I don't know if Dolph ever did any cocaine. He has a face, though. He looks like he went from this to show a clip of Dolph now.
Einstein's theory of special relativity. Only I made it better.
And he has that face of
That doesn't look like cocaine. That looks like he was in the sun for years.
Yeah, it's a lot of sun.
Yeah.
But his career decisions and like movie
that
choices,
one might be because
those
of
look
cocaine.
like cocaine. Yeah.
What started out as a joke has turned out to be a disaster.
Creed appears to be in very serious condition.
The man alive.
You can miss the fun. If he dies, he dies.
So let's start with his first movie, Rocky IV. His first big starring role.
Yeah.
He plays Ivan Drago, and he didn't just get in great shape for this movie. He learned perfect Russian.
Yeah, it sounded good to me.
Yeah?
Yeah. Тебя яблоко. Это собака. Хорошо. Привет.
Hey, you see, he's not a machine. He's a man.
Неправда.
deaths. No pain. No pain. No pain.
Rocky 4 is definitely the best of the Rocky movies because a lot of people like Rocky 1, but for me, a little bit too much character development, acting,
Plot.
story, yeah. Only 1 or 2 montages. Rocky 2, a little better, a little bit more on the montages, a little bit less on the story, but still a little bit drama, a little bit character development. We don't need that. Rocky 3 started to do away with that stuff, but was it 80% montages? No. Rocky 4 was 80% montages, and it is the best Rocky movie by a mile. The best part of Rocky 1? What is it?
The montage.
The montage. Guess what? Rocky 4 has that same montage in it.
That's how you make a good movie. You just take all the best scenes from the other movies, combine them, and put them into one movie. I don't know why more people don't do it. Why are they like
Showing his face.
low lighting him?
Yeah.
Look like a ghoul.
Because he's so bad.
Is Rocky gonna drive to Russia?
It's still going, man. They already showed that in the montage. They ran out of footage.
That part too!
Oh my god. I really like that Rocky trains very old school American and rugged, while
Yeah.
Dolph is training all Soviet silly technology bullshit.
Technology is evil.
What are these workouts Dolph's doing? Is he running a factory with that?
Yeah.
Is he like providing energy for a building? And then there's a scene where Dolph is showing how hard he punches, and he punches 3 times harder than Mike Tyson ever punched in his life.
You know what's better than that?
Yeah?
He punches his average every time.
Normal heavyweight averages 700 pounds of pressure per square inch. Drago averages 1,850 pounds.
He averages that.
Quite obvious.
He's happened to do it right now, right on. He's so consistent.
That's very impressive.
And so that's the impressive part.
And did you know they actually didn't use any special effects for that scene? They just told Dolph to actually punch one of those punching machines, and that's what happened.
I believe it.
Yeah, he nailed it. Did you know that during the filming of the movie, Sylvester Stallone told Dolph, hey, punch me for real. Like, let's make it look real. So Dolph punched him, moved his heart inside his body. It hit his ribcage. Stallone spent 8 days in the hospital because this guy's a machine.
That's so scary.
It's a big mistake by Stallone. And Stallone's not a chump.
No?
Yeah,
He can probably take a punch.
not from Dolph.
Not from Dolph.
Not from
though.
Dolph.
I must break you.
Did you know that while they were filming, Carl Weathers, Apollo, actually got angry because Dolph was too aggressive during the filming of the sparring that he quit the movie. And they had to like convince him to come back because he was too, I guess, afraid of Dolph.
It's amazing. And Dolph was just like, if he quits, he quits.
The movie ended the Cold War, so you gotta give Dolph a lot of credit for that. That might help his rating. It might hurt because he was on the wrong side of history. He was trying to fight for Russia, so maybe that really helps Stallone's rating more. But it's an important movie. There's not too many movies that can claim they ended the Cold War. Only Rocky IV can claim that.
That's true.
You heard it here.
Waits. And I have waited so very long for this moment.
Let her go.
I don't think so. No.
Way to go, Dolph.
He's such a good actor.
Masters of the Universe. Holy shit. That movie wasn't as good as I remembered as a kid. I thought it was a lot better. I'm sorry I made you watch it.
That's just not what I was expecting that movie to be at all.
I expected it to be at least as good as the cartoon from the 80s, but it really wasn't.
I've fought your snakes before, Skeletor.
See, I have never even seen the cartoon, but I thought it was just gonna be this like fun, silly little fantasy movie set in this goofy
it was
fantasy
silly.
world.
It was goofy.
No,
It wasn't fun.
yeah, it was.
It wasn't fun.
It wasn't
It's a
fun.
sort of movie where there's a music shop burning down, and the character actually says, "Oh no, the keyboards."
Oh my god. My store! My keyboards!
They draw attention to the keyboards being ruined by the fire. Fast forward 30 minutes into the movie, they need a musical instrument for some reason, and the kid goes, "I'm gonna go back to that shop and get a keyboard."
Wait, I'll get a keyboard from Charlie's.
Comes back 5 minutes later with a keyboard, no explanation.
It's so weird.
Not only that, but then he plays it outside with no outlet in the 80s.
Yep. This is also the kind of movie where there's a little dwarf character, and he's taking everyone back to his home.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a locksmith, right?
I am Gwildor of Thenor, locksmith and inventor.
And he's going to unlock his door, and he goes,
I remember the days we didn't have to lock our doors. Those days will come back. Oh, yes.
probably not something a locksmith should be wishing for. You're a locksmith. That's bad business.
And what did he do before?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Where's he been?
It has a very low budget. It's one of those movies that, for some reason, these were pretty popular early 90s, late 80s. Fantasy movie that looks promising, and then they're like, you know what? Let's have a portal to Earth.
So disappointing.
Stand here.
That's what planet they're on.
Is it?
It's the one that takes the least budget to film.
Let me blast
Wait. Like intelligent.
Is it Earth?
Yeah, it's Earth.
That's cool.
The sorcerers are
Wait, are they gonna be in like modern times then?
hideous cry.
No, forest cow.
Communicate with the forest.
Do you remember when Skeletor was giving them directions and all the good guys were like, whatever you want?
Throw down your weapons, or you die. Surrender your sword.
He should have realized that earlier. The movie would have been a lot shorter.
Yeah.
We all would have been a lot happier. Skeletor was like, He-Man, kill yourself. And that was it.
What is it?
I don't know. Someone must have dropped it.
Dropped it? Are you kidding? Look at the size of that hole. It's like it fell out of the sky or something. No, this is one of those new Japanese synthesizers. Here, let me try it.
Seen these before?
You have?
Yeah. It's Japanese.
What is this thing? It's a synthesizer.
And what about the key, which for some reason all the characters think is a synthesizer the whole movie, even though it's very clearly a movie prop.
Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. Masters of the Universe. Live the adventure.
And Rocky IV had a small bit role.
Very few lines.
Very few lines, but it's okay. All he had to do was stand there and look menacing.
He did that.
Yeah, he did that fine. And then in He-Man, he's He-Man. He's the main character.
Yeah, big break.
Big break.
No lines though. He doesn't.
Probably has fewer lines than Rocky IV.
And every time he's about to say something, it looks like they're like Man-O-War's like, yeah, I got this.
He-Man, I shall point 8 ball chromons to Moonrise at Grayskull. We better find the key and we better find it fast.
What's your plan?
When we find the key, Gwildor will set the coordinates for Grayskull. We'll use the element of surprise.
Oh, sure, we'll drop right into the throne room. Fight off 2,000 or 3,000 of Skeletor's crack troops, break into the force field, and free the sorceress.
Right.
I was actually surprised he got to say, I have the power. I thought that Courtney Cox might come up and grab the sword. Because I think the director had zero faith in him.
He-Man, no!
Teela, I have no choice. This is our fight. I don't want innocent people to die.
Well said, He-Man.
In today's story, Elena tried taking a magic potion which she thought would help her. Well, she found out there aren't any magic potions. And you know what? There aren't any magic drugs either. Anytime you take one from anybody but your parents or your doctor, you're taking a very big chance. You're gambling with your health, maybe even your life. Drugs don't make your problems go away. They just create more.
What the hell are you staring at?
Do you have any idea what it's like out there? Do you? Well, I'm fighting this thing, man. If I kick ass, well, kiss ass. And I'm busting heads.
The first Dolph movie we actually watched together, and one of the first movies we watched together was when I was showing you Jean-Claude Van Damme. And that's Universal Soldier.
It's like my size, yeah. Next.
Universal Soldier might be his best movie role, because he acts crazy. I think that's when Dolph's at his best, when he's acting menacing and crazy. He makes a lot of ear jokes, a lot of ear puns.
It happened! And it doesn't just go away. You just can't walk away, do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Can I have a word with you?
I'm all ears.
So when we first started to watch this movie, I think this is the first time you probably mentioned Dolph to me at all. And you talked about him like he was one of these legendary action stars. He was so good at fighting. He was like up there with Van Damme. And then we watched the movie, he doesn't fight at all.
Yeah, he doesn't fight in a lot of movies.
Has no fighting whatsoever.
That's one of the weird things about Dolph, is that he's one of the most accomplished martial artists in cinema, and you don't see it. He fights Van Damme in the movie, but it's not a martial arts fight, or if it barely is. It's filmed horribly, you can't see anything, and it's a huge disappointment.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to question how impressive Dolph actually is at fighting on screen. He looks super intimidating.
He's big.
He's very big. I'm sure if he started walking towards you,
I would run. I would
fast.
Cower. I would run and cower.
But we just haven't seen, up to this point, Dolph fighting at all.
That's true. Well, we watched a lot of movies.
Action movies.
But yeah, Universal Soldier, almost a great movie, by the way. I actually really like it. It's a bit of a Terminator ripoff, but they did a good enough job making it unique. Except that it doesn't have an ending. By the end of the movie, Van Damme is still a Universal Soldier, which might be it looks like he needs maintenance, but he just killed all the people who could give him maintenance, so is he gonna die? And also they were fugitives from the cops. It's not a big deal. Dolph's dead. Movie's over. The moment Dolph's out, they're like, no one wants to watch this anymore.
I mean, that is the big accomplishment, right? It's not like surviving your weird zombie condition. It's not getting away
Taking
from
out
the
Dolph
cops.
is a lot harder.
Yeah, it's taking
I
out
would
Dolph.
much rather try to figure out how to cool down every day of my life
Then fight Dolph once.
I have to cool down.
Please! I'll get anything! Now! No! No! Please! I'm pleading! Get me out of here!
Look at that That's the best scene. Why are you laughing?
It's like someone had to see it and just not care, right?
Let's talk about my favorite movie, maybe of all time. Showdown in Little Tokyo. He's lucky there were tattoos. Because if there were no tattoos, it would have been real awkward. Alright.
That's your favorite movie of all time.
It's up there. It's before, we love watching so bad it's good movies, right? Like The Room and stuff like that. But long before The Room, before Neil Breen, before Miami Connection, any of these movies came along, or Samurai Cop, there was Showdown in Little Tokyo and Commando. Those were the two movies. And it's directed by the same guy. Showdown in Little Tokyo's director is a Commando director, and it shows. It's pretty much a sequel. And you don't have Arnold for it, but Dolph, with a little help from Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee, delivers one of the greatest pieces of action cinema I've ever seen.
Alright. I will say, Dolph is at least his most charming in this movie. I don't know if that's because he finally found his, like, shining moment in Showdown in Little Tokyo, or if it's just because Brandon Lee is so irritating in this movie.
The Iron Claw. Okay, he's Yakuza. It's a perversion of the warrior class that dates back to the 12th century.
So these guys have been pissing you off for a long time.
Dolph looks so mad. He's like, what are you saying?
Like, no, Brandon, I wasn't around in the 12th century.
Don't do that. They don't really want me back. I have a problem keeping partners, too.
Well, I'm not surprised. I hate you already. Okay, I want to find out the name of his boss. Is Oyabun.
Oyabun?
And now they're friends.
Well, if he tells you, the boss man isn't going to be happy.
His choice.
What's he doing?
Mother.
What the fuck did he do?
He made his choice. In his world, that was the honorable way to die.
What world is that?
His world.
Let me get this straight, Kenner.
It's the best movie in so many ways.
I mean, it's Dolph's best movie for sure.
And it's Brandon Lee's best movie too.
Oh, is it really?
I mean, it has to be, right? It's Dolph's best movie. You think Brandon Lee's best movie is better than Dolph's best movie? Think about it. It's mathematically impossible.
Shit. You don't like this guy? I understand you don't like this guy. But you shoot him and you're scum.
Dolph really wants to shoot Brandon Lee. You can see it in his face.
You give up everything you are, champ.
Trying so hard
All
not
your
to point your
Japanese
gun at
warrior
him.
bullshit. And you get me killed too.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I actually think Brandon Lee adds a lot to the movie. I think, hey, Brandon Lee is terrible. And as a huge insult to his father. And it's weird that he's the punk while Dolph Lundgren's the, like, you know, serious martial artist. Bruce Lee would be rolling in his grave, you know, watching that. But probably now Brandon Lee is also rolling in his grave. Oh, shit. That was grim.
Oh, no.
Remember when he got his neck broken in last scene?
Oh, yeah.
But this movie really has everything. It has boobs throughout the movie for no reason, popping in and out. Tia Carrera's in it. She has stunt boobs. It has Brandon Lee kicking a guy into boiling gasoline after reading him his rights and saying,
You have the right to be dead.
Such a good line.
Everything in the movie explodes, not just the boiling gasoline, but people cars. Dolph smashes his arm through a door to grab someone. This movie has everything.
It's the best movie.
It's the best movie.
Oh,
shit. Oh, he's dead.
Well, why didn't you keep her somewhere else?
It went straight through.
It went straight through.
Oh.
His heart.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
So
stand
it's
here
cool.
and watch him kill you. That's what happens, yes, you are. Okay.
No problem,
Kick his
man.
ass, samurai.
The bullet went through my heart.
How did he know?
Go ahead, use your gun.
He checked. He looked behind his.
You don't have the honor
Just
to
checked
fight
for the
like a
exit
man.
one, you know? He's
You
like,
do
look,
believe
he's
in
like, oh,
fate,
it went
don't
through.
you, Kenna?
So I'm fine. If a bullet goes through you, it doesn't like do any damage. Yeah, you just don't want it in you, poisoning you and shit. Oh wait, shit, no exit wound. Fuck. Misdiagnosed himself. Oh no. We ended up watching Expendables, where Dolph co-stars with Stallone, Jet Li, Jason Statham, and he's the one who comes out on top.
Yeah, this might actually be his best role.
Universal Soldier might be his best movie role, because he acts crazy. I think that's when Dolph's at his best. It's the best movie in so many ways.
I mean, it's Dolph's best movie for sure. Yeah, this might actually be his best role.
Yeah, the fact that he's able to stand out in that crowd and kind of like be by far the highlight of the movie, that says a lot.
It goes to show that he shouldn't shoot for this hero thing. He's better off playing the crazy guy. He was good in Universal Soldier because he was this weirdo obsessed with ears. And he was good in Expendables because he was crazy.
We want our money now! Wanted shot now!
Little low. You know, the role was originally written for Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he went, it's Stallone. I don't think anyone would believe me being a druggie or alcoholic. So he didn't want to be in it, and they took Dolph instead. And you know, I would think that would ruin the movie for me. And finding that out before I watched the movie, I was like, oh, that's so sad. Dolph replaced Van Damme. I didn't miss Van Damme watching the movie because Dolph was so good.
Yeah, he did it really well.
Now, Van Damme should have replaced any of the other characters. That would have been great.
Respect must be taught.
While you were talking about you think Van Damme could replace any of the other characters, my first thought was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if it was just Van Damme and Dolph in a movie? It's like, oh wait, they did that. Wasn't that cool?
Negotiation.
No, wait.
Over.
Skin Trade is one of the most trash movies I've ever seen. And that's because I haven't seen a lot of Dolph Lundgren's other Netflix movies. And there's a lot.
Is there?
Yeah, and they're not rated highly.
I'm so glad we didn't have to watch all of those.
Yeah, that's probably the best one.
This movie, I think, it made me hate you a little bit.
It's like the biggest man in the world. Shoot a little higher. I think Dolph looks like shit in this movie. His skin is disgusting.
Yeah, his skin does look a little, like, crocodile-ish.
Looks like he needs a skin trade of his own. Maybe that's why they called it that.
Maybe that's why Dolph signed on to this movie. He was like, oh, skin trade? Yeah, I'm in.
Oh, it's a movie.
Rosa and Sophia are dead. Their bodies were consumed by the blaze. The firefighters found you downstairs.
Yeah, you don't want to think about this right now, man. Well, the guy sent you this card, and I'm gonna put it right here.
Your wife and daughter are dead.
Here's a card.
Not bad, right?
We all signed it.
It has some of the worst camera work in any movie. They literally, like, every kick, Tony Jaa will start kicking, and they'll, his leg will be here, cut, his leg's here, cut, his leg's finally connecting, cut. It's like, you don't need to see one kick from 12 different angles.
You can't see what's going on at
You-
all. You have no concept of where people are in the scene because every time someone tries to do anything, the camera switches. So you're like, wait, in what context is this guy near this other guy?
And it makes everything, like anything that was impressive in the choreography, you don't get to see it.
Not at all.
If Dolph can fight, we never got to see it.
But you know what? That's a theme throughout a lot of the movies. Same thing in Expendables. He fights Jet Li.
You don't see it.
You don't see any of it.
Cut, shake, shake, shake.
The thing is, it must be really bad because I usually never notice directing and can never pinpoint if it's like bad directing, if the directing is making a scene worse or whatever. I think this is one of the first movies that I've actually been able to say, yeah, it's the directing.
I like how he did a flip over one. Did you see that? Oh, he did like a little cartwheel flip over one for no reason. Because this is what Tony Jaa usually does in his movie. Yeah, that's what he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Oh, that was literally the same.
Oh, was it?
That was the same thing from a different angle. The movie is one of those movies where everything but the fight sucks, but the fight should make up for it, but the fight suck just as much as everything else because of the cuts and everything.
Everything but the fights suck, but the fights suck.
What he meant
That's
was...
what happens with this movie. It melts your brain.
You will remember my name. I'm the one who beat you at your game.
Now it's time for Dolph's actual action star review. So I'm gonna let you go first, Lexi. What is his rating out of 5 stars as an action star?
This one's so hard. Because when you first told me about Dolph and showed me his picture, he looks like an action star, right? He seems like an action. He's tall.
6'5".
He's muscular.
250 pounds.
He's really handsome. Like those muscles, his arms are huge. He's just like, he looks
We
like
got
he
it.
would be
That's it. We got it. We know he's. It's fine.
Okay. He's handsome.
Thanks. I don't know what to say.
How about don't get killed?
Don't get killed.
But then we watched his movies.
No.
But I thought he was going to be a good actor. I thought he was going to be good at martial arts. But the movies say otherwise.
I mean, he's probably decent at martial arts, but like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't show.
You don't. Yeah, you start to question it because he has all of these moments where he should be able to prove that he's a good fighter.
Yeah.
And for some reason, all of the movies obscure this point.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he's not even handsome.
No, he's handsome. The fighting, though, we don't know.
We don't.
So because of that, I'm gonna give Dolph a 3. I find him really likable. He's believable as an action star in the sense that he looks the part. But he just isn't a great actor. He doesn't have a lot of big roles. He has like no lines as a main character. His whole rating's based on potential.
To drive your cursed face from my memory forever! Yes! Let this be our final battle!
You're right about everything you said with Dolph not being the best actor and not being... But he's not terrible. I think he had potential if he had better directors. I don't know if his martial arts was ever showy enough to, like, do well in movies. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe his techniques just are things that can only kill people and put slow in the hospital, but they're not really something that would look good on film, as opposed to like Van Damme's kicks or like Jackie Chan's fun fighting style or anything like that. But he's just strangely became a legend in his own right, despite everything. And honestly, a huge part of his rating is going to be favoritism, because he's one of my favorites. And I think the highest that favoritism can get anyone is 3.5.
Let's relax your face, okay? Close your eyes, then open. Close, then open. Relax. And your jaw open, close. Open, close. Now you should feel terrific. Energized, relaxed, revitalized, and ready to make your fantasies come true.
Yeah, I just don't get the extra half star. I don't understand. I
mean, favoritism. Oh, I really like him.
Yeah, I mean, I really like him.
I don't think I really disagree with you too harshly. I think I'm just like, he's close. Like, I would rather watch a young Dolph movie than most things, even though young Dolph movies are mostly trash. Although he wasn't the Punisher, and he started the Marvel franchise, if you think about it.
So probably minus half a star.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Or you can think of it this way. He tried to kill the Marvel franchise before it could become this horrible Goliath of movie destruction that it is.
So probably plus half a star.
Yeah, there you go. It depends on how you look at it.
Every day the children of God is gonna cost you money. Take that message to your people.
Hope you liked the video. If you did, please smash that like button with 1,850 pounds of force. And Dolph, if you're watching, just know that we're huge fans of you despite the rating.
Oh, yeah, Dolph, if you're watching this, 5 stars. You gotta do it again.